if you're ready.
Right, far away. Hi guys, it's Rich from Custom Fit Guards, and today I'm joined by LambChops. Here he is, the man himself. For most of you who don't know, he is a motovlogger. If you don't know him, you do now. And I'll let you just introduce yourself a little bit as well.
I'm LambChopRides. Been riding bikes all my life, more or less. But yeah.
That's what you do, exactly that. Right, let's keep. I have got this. This is going to help me with my questions. It's first time for me, so just go with it. So why did you first start your YouTube channel?
Well, it all started about 6 years ago. I used to have a Fireblade.
Yeah.
And my brother-in-law had a brand new bike that looked fantastic. Mine was a bit of an old one, so I thought I want to do some mods to this bike. So it all started as a blog build, really, in the garage. So me, but I'm still on YouTube. The first videos I've got is about 26 episodes of me stripping a CBR down, putting it back together, putting a different engine in it, different electronics, and that sort of everything started from there. When that was done, I enjoyed the whole creative process of editing, and I've got some funny music in there, and there's a bit of comedy in it, and I quite like that. And when it all done, I was, oh, that's over. What am I going to do now? I know what. Let's put a mic in my helmet and just do a first test ride on the road. Right. And it all went from there. And I really liked that. Some good feedback, and then I carried on doing more rides on the bike with the microphone, basically. And there was people like Bow von Grumble, obviously doing similar things.
Yeah.
I thought,
give it a go.
Yeah,
and just because you enjoyed it, basically. It's nice and simple that way, isn't it? Exactly that. So obviously we've got two bikes behind us here, two scary bikes in my opinion. So what bikes do you own? Just run us through those, and which one do you use, if you do, on a more daily basis? Or do you ride more often, let's say? They're
both sort of mine. The 500, the Supermoto is mine. Yeah. My name's on the logbook. With the GSXR, Suzuki's name is on the logbook at the moment, but it's soon to be mine. I'm in discussions with them about buying it, which has been gone about 6 months. So at the moment they've gone a bit quiet, and I think there's been some changes in management at Suzuki. So I'm thinking if I keep quiet, they may forget I've even got that.
Bike, isn't it?
Exactly. So the money's better sat in my account than theirs. So, but I am buying that bike. So. Yeah.
And which one do you kind of use? Do you use one more than another, or is it because you obviously said this one you took out for about 3 months?
It's tricky because that one, when that one was owned by Suzuki, obviously I put miles on that, so I thought I'd use that. But if for fun factor, I think the 500 is more fun. And I tend to go out every week. Got a few mates with Supermoto, so we go out on a Wednesday evening, have a bit of fun. So it's normally the 500, to be honest.
I might have to get one as well.
It's
a bit of a drive for me to come and see John, but I'll do it for that sort of bike.
It's worth it.
So what was your first motorbike?
My first bike was...
and how old maybe as well?
I was 16.
Right.
It was an MBX 50.
Okay. Explain that to someone.
Yeah, it was like a pretend sports bike, a 50cc pretend sports bike. It was all tuned up. It was meant to do 70 miles an hour. It had a tiny rear sprocket on it. Me being such a big guy, I got on this bike and I couldn't get it over sort of 50 mile an hour. It was so high geared. It was trying to thrash it and it just wouldn't pick up with the weight on it. So I had that for about 5 days, and then because it wasn't meant to be quick, it was a buddy who had a DT50, which was sort of a bit like the Supermoto, like a dirt bike style bike, 50cc, obviously Yamaha. Yeah. And he said, "Oh, I'll do a swap. Do you want to swap bikes?" And I was like, "Get this thing off my hands." Yeah, absolutely, I do. So that was it. Yeah, first little 50cc.
So your first bike you had for about 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Wow. You enjoyed that bike, didn't you?
Oh, it was great.
The main thing.
I was glad to see that one go.
Lots of memories with that bike, that's for sure. So, what's your favourite thing about riding in general?
I just like the freedom of it. There's the thrill of it, of course, the acceleration. I think that is probably what I enjoy most.
Because you've got a bit of a need for speed, don't you? I've seen that on your videos.
I'd like
the bike that we've got there.
I like a bit of a speed fix. I've always liked fast things, fast cars, So there's definitely a speed fix there.
So what was your first bike that actually had a bit of speed to it then? In that case,
first faster bike was probably a TZR 250, two-stroke. That was so I had the whole range of 50cc's, and then went on to 125s when you could legally wear 125s. But then when they started getting a bit quicker was probably the TZR. Yeah. And then a few of the other two-stroke. This was early 90s, I suppose. Yeah. And there's a few others of the two-stroke sort of 250s, which were sort of quite high-performance bikes back then. And that was probably. And
when did you pass your test to ride without L plates?
Straight away. I think it's when I was 17, did it more or less straight away. For the bike. The car test I didn't pass till I needed it for work, which I was about 25 when I passed my car test. I really wasn't interested in...
So you're riding bikes basically rain, wind.
Exactly. I was an all-weather biker back then. Not anymore, but
exactly.
I was back then.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow, awesome. So yeah, a big one. So obviously, not a lot of people know, but you had about a 10-year break in between. It was because of kids and stuff like that. So kind of what made you want to come back from that break?
Yeah, well, the brother-in-law has always had bikes. I used to ride with him as a kid because I knew him as a kid as well. So we've always ridden. He's always had a bike. So when I got rid of him, I'd always go in his house for dinner and I'd say, what bike you got now? And end up looking at the bikes, oh, that's nice. Yeah. And he was always going, you got to get another one, John, you got to get another one. And I was, in the end, the kids got older. It's like I said to the wife, I said, look, I'm going to get another bike. She's like, oh, you're not getting a bike. So we had a bit of a 6 months of back and forth. You're not getting a bike, I am getting a bike. But anyway, I decided I was getting a bike. So
that was the
CBR 900.
Yeah,
which was the most fastest bike I had up until then. I had a ZXR 750, like the first one generation of that, the H1, I think it was called, which was great. But it was it was a performance level up again when I got the 900. And it took me probably 6 months to sort of learn the craft again, after being and a totally different way of riding a big sort of sports bike, handling sports bike like that. But yeah, that was the the
comeback.
It was the comeback,
And then so from there, obviously, what then made you think I'm going to start filming this when obviously you came back? Because you weren't, 10 years before that. Well, really, I know YouTube wasn't. It was only just kind of kicking off. But what kind of made you think, right, now I'm doing it, I'm going to start filming? Was it simply doing the project?
It was the project. It was the project in the garage. Like I say, people like BehindTheThrottle, but I started watching his channel and thinking, this is a lot, and think, well, this is really fun, this looks interesting. So I did all the garage stuff, and up until that point, I hadn't really done. I think had you done anything in front of the camera? I'd done a little bit of. I messed about with mounting a phone on the bike and made a little bracket to try and do like some onboard footage.
Yeah.
So I messed about with that for a while, and like I said, then I did the garage stuff, and then when I wanted to test ride the bike, it seemed only natural to sort of commentate on the first test ride after the build. So and it just sort of went.
Did you find it when you were doing that first kind of because I guess we're going back 6 years now. Were you getting a good kind of kickback of people viewing and stuff like that whilst you were doing the bike builds?
Because I was on a couple
you look back to it, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I was on a couple of bike forums at the time when forums were sort of big, before YouTube and all that really. So I was on a few forums and I documented. There was a few stages the build went through, but I'd done some documentation on lots of photos, lots of blog posts on there.
Yeah.
So when it came to the YouTube stuff, there were some people who came from that to the videos.
Yeah, self-advertising.
But then it was on YouTube. It started to sort of build some momentum. I think by the end of the first 1,000 subscribers is the difficult thing on YouTube. Yeah. That first 1,000 is hard to get to.
Hear that, Terry?
Hard to get to. So I think after that 26 episodes of the build, I had about 700 subscribers, something like that. Well. Yeah, so that sort of got that initial momentum.
That's
going.
A lot of episodes as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it was 26 of those, mainly all. I guess they're about 20 minutes long, 20 and 30 minutes long.
Yeah, so a lot of hours.
I look back at it now, and it's all just on the go. It's embarrassing, you look back at that initial sort of in front of the camera stuff and it's like oh god, it's cringe-worthy.
You're telling me, I'm going to look back at this in a few years' time and think, Rich, fine. What were you doing?
You want to watch these, but as it moved on, sort of by 5 or 6 episodes in, I was getting a bit more natural with it, and awesome. It was interesting. I loved the editing side of it. Yeah, and doing that creative. Have you always done? Have you ever done like a creative role when you were younger? Or anything? I did anything creative? An art A level when I was younger, so I did art and drama.
There you go. So you were a bit creative.
I used to want to be an actor when I was very young. So I did art and drama.
You're halfway there, aren't you?
Sort of, yeah. So yeah, I've always had a bit of a creative side. So I like the editing. I like thinking, how am I going to, recording? How am I going to set these shots up?
Awesome.
Yeah, that's
okay. So I've always had it in you a little bit.
Yeah, I have a little bit. Yeah.
So, what would you kind of advise someone who maybe wants to get into kind of moto vlogging? Yeah. I don't know whether you'd say for a full-time thing, because I think it's you've got to be one lucky person to do that. But what would you advise someone who wants to kind of, I guess, be a popular influencer in the motorcycling world?
I think it's very difficult to sort of get into it now. I think you have
That's
to.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
I think you have to be offering something probably a bit different than what other people are offering, or be a bit quirky, or
custom earplugs.
Custom earplugs, or something like that. But I think most of all, be yourself. Don't try and copy somebody else.
Yeah.
Just think, I'm going to be myself. and put yourself out there.
And also, I guess if you yourself, you know, those subscribers that you get are loyal subscribers to you, right? Like I guess you don't want to just please everyone. Actually, the people you really want to get is the people who like-minded.
Very true.
Like,
I mean, you'll always get the trolls who will say stuff. Oh, this is rubbish. You know, who's this joker? You know, you get that, and you just build up a bit of a thick skin to ignore those.
Get used to it.
It takes a little while, I suppose, to be reasonably popular and getting a decent amount of views before you get people like that commenting.
It probably helps if you ride motorcycles as well, I imagine.
Well,
it might help a little bit.
Probably, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe you got to get a bigger bike.
Yeah, exactly. I know that. Yeah, I'll actually be able to fit on it now. Christ,
you have to go on that in a minute.
Oh God, not a chance. I'll tell you what, I'll sit on it.
Well, take it out and you can have a sit. I'll start it up
and then I can just pretend I've got a new bike. Then that's what we'll do. If I want to get this channel to grow, I'll just say that's my bike.
Yeah, that's my bike.
Yeah, there you go. We'll cut that bit out and then we'll reshoot it. We'll shoot the start bit. So kind of, you're right, obviously I know we've got a Supermoto here and you've already said a bit, but let's talk it in front of the camera that what are kind of your riding preferences? Do you do much green laning? Is it all on the road? I know you said you do a bit of track.
Yeah. I bit of everything really, and I try and bring a bit of everything to the channel as well. So a lot of people, the enduro videos, you know, going off road, it's always entertaining, people falling off, and you know, it's always a bit of fun. But I never do very well on the channel really. I had one recent, last one on the live one at the moment is an off-roading one, and it's, you know, it's not doing as well as a road-based video. But I don't care. I mean, I think it's important to try these other things and encourage other people to try them as well.
And what about your touring? Because obviously you went on with everyone, you know, with Mr. Flyer, Richie Vida, T-Pot1. Is it something that is part of the touring part, is it the fact that you're with all the kind of guys and it's a kind of blokey tour? I know obviously there was a lady there as well. What is, am I right? Two wheels and a ponytail. So, but is that part of the whole touring part, or is it the scenery? Because obviously, I guess you're not really a GS man who just sits on GSs. Yeah,
I think for me it's about the roads, and I think that's when you go outside of the UK and you ride, certainly the south where we are, but you ride on some of those Spanish roads, you know, or the Pyrenees I've done before, and they're just fantastic. There's hardly any traffic, so for me I think primarily it's about getting out, getting on some amazing roads to have some fun on really. There's also, then you put into that, you know, they say a couple of guys away, it's always a bit of fun, you know, a bit of joking around, so I do
just
love
the experience of it as a whole, as it were.
But I think mainly the roads, and if I was planning a route, it'd be somewhere with a good roads. I think that's the scenery. That helps as well. But I think the scenery's great, but give me the roads. Roads anytime.
Awesome.
Both is even better.
I might be with you soon, John. You never know.
Well, why not?
125. So, where's the best place you've ridden on that note, and where would you maybe like to ride that you can maybe tick off your bucket list? And that can be like, you know, you can say a track or something like that as well.
Okay. Best place I've ridden so far is probably the Pyrenees. We did a year before last. We did a trip through the Pyrenees on the Super Duke with my mate Womble on his Tuono, and there's some incredible roads through the Pyrenees and deserted. There's all sorts of roads, you know, tight, twisty, switchbacks, big sweepers. It's fantastic. Also down by Torre, around that southern Spain, there's also some fantastic. Anywhere where there's mountains, there's good roads. I think if you go to a mountainous region, you're going to get good roads.
And where would you think you'd like to? If you had to pick your place.
I'd like to do something in the States. It would be nice to tick that off the list, you know. There's not many corners in the States, I suppose. They're a bit straight, I suppose.
I've done the States, not riding obviously, but a few times kind of in a Mustang or whatever. And it is basically flattened. But it's something always appeals.
Maybe it's from the movies or whatever, but it's just something that appeals. And it'd have to be maybe on a Harley, you know, something like that. I would like to try that.
Exactly.
But I think we've got such great roads in Europe. That's the only place you'd probably need to go outside of Europe to actually
do it as well. I can't really think of anywhere.
I don't fancy doing a round the world trip like Bruce did. You know, that doesn't appeal. But just going away for a few weeks, I quite like the idea of sort of a bit of a endurance sort of trip. Because when we did the Spain trip, it was 4 days, and we got the ferry down to Santander, and then come all the way back to the UK in 4 days, going via the B500 in Germany.
Right.
And it was, you know, what we looking on paper, well, we can do that in a day. You know, in reality, it was like
it's only about
700 miles, you know, on twisty roads, and that takes a long time. You know. But it was quite good though doing the
harder doing it on a completely different bike than what you used to, or just different.
The Super Duke is a naked bike, so it's fairly comfortable sat up. But because you're sat up quite high. A lot of weight is on your arse.
I was going to say you had a lot of arse issue, didn't you?
I did a lot of arse issue. Yeah, a lot of arse issue.
On that trip.
Whereas this, because you're canted forward a little bit, you've got a little bit of weight on your arms. You've got a little bit of weight. You know what I mean? It's not all in one. It's dispersed. Exactly. Yeah, so it's too. You know. Yeah.
He enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. It was good. That was the main thing. Yeah.
So if you had to ride one bike for the rest of your life. Doesn't matter, you know, if it's end of the world, zombie apocalypse, if it's raining, snow, beautiful day, what would you go for?
It would have to be Supermoto.
Really? Yeah.
Maybe not that.
I was going to say, would it be that?
The 701 or the new 690, something which is reasonable, because you can't go commuting on that. And that's great for just going out for fun. But 701, 690, you can commute on those. They can do as an all-round bike. I think it's fantastic fun. The one for you? Yeah, I think so, definitely.
Awesome. Now this is the big one. I know you've been thinking about this because I had to warn you about this question. So I've got to make sure I read it right as well. Would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 30 duck-sized horses?
30 duck-sized horses.
This is probably the most serious one everyone's tuned in for.
I think it's the 30 duck-sized horses, because you're not going to stand a chance against a duck the size of a horse. It's just going to. It's going to have you, isn't it? But 30 little horses, just stomping, a bit of
that's what Terry said.
I think you can get through it, but a massive horse-sized duck just flap its wings.
I just thought, though, against one horse-sized duck, imagine if you did beat it. I mean, that's one hell of a...
Yeah, I suppose.
Imagine chopping the head off and putting that on your wall. I was going to say,
there is that. There is that, I suppose,
There you go. Well, that's it, basically. So, thanks for tuning in, everyone. For more kind of insights, product insights, videos, vlogging, interviews with guys like LambChops here, just stay tuned and subscribe.